Okay, guys, so we gotta talk. There's a big problem going on within our school system, and by big, I mean monumental. Right now, our schools are literally feeding children of color to the prison system. The school-to-prison pipeline is no longer a theory or idea. It is a proven system of abuse, injustice, and racism built around the mistreatment of children of color in efforts to move them directly from the schools to the prisons. So if this is an issue, and we all know it's an issue, why does it continue? The answer is in the way that the current education system corrects students and handles discipline. Zero-tolerance policies are to blame for the school-to-prison pipeline. Students are being punished by suspending, expelling, relocating, and in some situations, law enforcement gets called in. These are consequences for kids. Kids. How can we have zero tolerance towards children that are learning and growing? Zero-tolerance policies were created to incentivize the pushing out of low-performing students from the schools. It automatically imposes severe punishments regardless of the circumstances. Across the United States, children of color are being pushed out of schools and into prisons at a staggering rate. According to the ACLU, suspended and expelled children are often left unsupervised and without constructive activities. It's also easy for them to fall behind in their coursework, leading towards higher dropout rates in the United States. Zero-tolerance policies criminalize minor infractions of school rules, while cops in schools leads to students being criminalized because of their behavior. Students of color are especially vulnerable to push out trends in the discriminatory applications of discipline within the school system. All of this proves that the school discipline system is to blame for the school-to-prison pipeline. Putting armed security and police officers in the schools criminalizes children of color for things that can be expected of students that are still learning. According to Teaching Tolerance, in Meridian, Mississippi, school officials actually gave armed police unfettered authority to stop, frisk, detain, question, search, and arrest school children on and off school grounds. How are students supposed to focus in school when they run the risk of getting into legal trouble for doing basically anything? Teaching Tolerance also states that teachers know their students better than any officer or administrator. This puts them in a position to keep the students in the classroom because they have a relationship with the child. Students of color face the particular challenge of having to walk astray from the paved path the system has placed before them. Although tackling the issue of the school-to-prison pipeline is difficult, with the collaboration of students, educators, and the community, as well as officials, it's far from impossible. Increasing the use of positive reinforcement, interventions, and supports, creating appropriate limits on the use of law enforcement in schools, and properly training educators on how to work towards positive outcomes for students at risk can help guide children out of this pattern of abuse. If you're still not convinced of the severity of this issue, remember that Black children constitute of 18% of the students in schools but account for 46% of those suspended more than once. About 1 in 4 Black children with disabilities were suspended at least once versus the 1 in 11 white students with disabilities, and more than 70% of students arrested in schools-related incidents or referred to law enforcement are Black or Hispanic. So if you don't see this as a problem, you're probably a racist and you're most definitely part of the problem. Let's do better.